Already scary enough, Elon Musk has just said that they are now working on the ability to help people that have lost limbs by attaching parts of their Optimus robot to their body and then using the Neuralink chip to control them. The company recently implanted their second patient with the chip, and in their most recent update on his recovery, Elon said, if all goes well, there will be hundreds of people with Neuralinks within a few years, maybe tens of thousands within 5, and millions of people within 10 years. I mean, we joked about people's chips getting hacked before.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? If you guys are brand new here to the channel, you guys don't know what we do, let me tell you about it, man. We break down scary and creepy videos on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG reels, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank you guys, man, who's tuning into the channel, watching the videos entirely, man. Comment down below and hit that thumbs up button on each and every single video drop. Really appreciate the support. Found this video for you guys today, man. Let's do what we do best, seekers. Stay with me, y'all. Let's seek the truth.
Here's the scariest cursed objects that actually exist. The Hands Resist Him painting, painted by Bill Stoneham, is considered one of the most haunted pieces of art. Every person who has ever owned this painting shares the same story. They claim that once nightfall hits, the figures in the painting would either move or disappear completely. People also claim that even seeing the painting immediately makes them feel sick and weak. If this isn't scary enough, the owner of the first art gallery to ever show the painting, as well as the art critic who reviewed it, both died within 1 year of seeing it.
That's definitely some cursed energy.
Facts that you didn't know. Skittles is the candy that is bought the most on Halloween. A man once carved a pumpkin in 16.4 seconds, and it's a world record. I bet you didn't know that trick-or-treating has existed since the medieval times. Halloween brings in the second most amount of money among all holidays besides Christmas. And finally, a city in Canada made it illegal for kids 16 years and older to trick-or-treat.
No more candy for you, bro. They said
Disturbing
grow up.
Facts You Wish I Never Told You, Part 7. Meerkats murder the babies of their rivals. You can't hear anything in space. There's 6 million skeletons under Paris.
Ooh.
Nutmeg is no hallucinogen.
Maps that will change the way you see the world. This map shows the household incomes that are needed to feel comfortable living in each U.S. state. This map shows the number of cities that each U.S. state has with a population over 100,000 people. This map shows the major regions of where all of the zip codes are, with each number being the first number in your zip code. This map shows the obesity rates by country from just a couple of years ago, with China being in the green of under 10% and the United States being in the red of over 40%. This is a map of Italy that shows where the mafia is the most active, with the red areas being the highest.
Stay away from that.
Alaska is actually more central to the world than you would believe, and this is showing all the average flight times to major cities around the world. This map shows the strange distribution of where crested porcupines come from. How did they come from both sides of the Sahara Desert? This map shows where all the deserts are around the world. This map shows where all the vault locations are in the Fallout series.
Here are some facts you didn't know.
Interesting.
In 1559, King Henry II of France was participating in a jousting tournament. During a match, he was severely wounded in the eye and brain by a splintered lance. He died of his injuries 10 days later, with his death leading to the decline of jousting as a sport in France. Actress and Playboy centerfold Yvette Vickers was last seen in 2010 after withdrawing from her family and friends. When neighbor Susan Savage noticed cobwebs on the mailbox, she went inside to investigate. Upstairs, she discovered her mummified body. Lieutenant Colonel William Henry Rankin is one of only 2 known persons to survive falling from the top of a cumulonimbus thunderstorm cloud. He was forced to eject from his jet when his engine failed. It took him 40 minutes to finally reach the ground. During his descent, he suffered from frostbite, and severe decompression caused his mouth, eyes, ears, and nose to bleed.
Could you guys even imagine having to eject from the plane and you just like free falling? Like 30 minutes and have to experience all that? What's going on in your head as you're descending down? It's a brave man right there.
I mean,
That's
if
an edit.
Neuralink wasn't already scary enough, Elon Musk has just said that they are now working on the ability to help people that have lost limbs by attaching parts of their Optimus robot to their body and then using the Neuralink chip to control them. The company recently implanted their second patient with the chip, and in their most recent update on his recovery, Elon said, if all goes well, there will be hundreds of people with Neuralinks within a few years, maybe tens of thousands within 5, and millions of people within 10 years. I mean, we joked about people's chips getting hacked before, when it was just their brain, but now, throw in their arms and legs too? Hollywood, how about we stop making sequels to everything, and someone make a movie about that?
This high school
They really want to freaking bring like our robot into reality, man. I know that Will Smith movie. It seems like that's the road we going down, man. Neuralink. I stay away from that completely. I ain't getting no chip putting in my brain. No, thank you.
resource officer was caught having a relationship with a 15-year-old girl. The girl only came forward when she was 19 after she spoke to a therapist of what had happened. This all began in 2019 when 34-year-old officer Christian Lennon got a hold of this girl's number and then used that information to find her on Snapchat. He then used his power to reach out to her, forming a relationship and then eventually essaying her in his car and his house multiple times. He told the girl that if she ever told anyone, they wouldn't believe her and they would all be on his side. Finally, in 2023, she went to police and they arranged a phone call between the girl and Christian where she brought up the relationship and everything they've done, and he unknowingly cooperated. His confession on the phone incriminated him, and that was all they needed to arrest him. But what was really weird is that when he spoke to investigators, he argued that he thought the girl was 16, and that meant she was of legal age to consent, which shows that this officer doesn't even know the law.
So I'm sure you all
Inuit.
remember back in 2016 when the whole clown situation happened and it was, a bit terrifying to say the least. You're easily scared. Do not watch this. These two stories happened on the same day in the same neighborhood back in 2016. So a young boy was home alone for the evening as his parents went out for a meal, and down the road a young girl was babysitting another child whose parents went out. Well, why was everyone's parents out that night? Jesus. Now, the young boy was just sat in bed, playing some video games, watching TV, and then eventually tried to get some sleep, until he heard a load of banging coming from outside the window. When he looked out the window, he saw this standing at the end of his driveway. Then he looked out the other window and saw this at the other side of his house, and then this at his actual window. Nah. He called the police, they came, but the men had already run off. Now over to the babysitter on the other side of the road. This was about 10 minutes afterwards. There was a creepy-looking clown statue just sat in the middle of the lounge after she put the child to bed. She called the dad and said, "I didn't realise you liked clowns, it's creeping me out, do you mind if I move it?" And he said, "There is no clown statue." She looked out the window and again saw two men standing there, staring in. She quickly called the police, pressed 5, dropped the phone and hid upstairs. Eventually the police came, arrested the men, but there was actually one inside the house. She said, "Where was he?" And they said, "He was hiding underneath the child's bed."
Whoa.
May.
The scary truth.
I remember that scary clown like freaking time, man. I remember everybody was dressing up as it, but some people, like you said, obviously we've seen these clips, man, they were taking it way too far. You actually went to a person's house, man, hiding in their bed at that. Nah, those scary clowns. I'm just glad that trend is over.
Truth about Santa Claus. But dude is all in one part, so make sure you double tap this video. His mom told her kid to stay in bed. It was Christmas Eve. The boy didn't listen. He really wanted to see Santa Claus. It said that Santa Claus actually kidnapped the kid for not listening to his mom. To this day, nobody knows where he is.
Santa Claus, Dark Origins.
Crazy things happening in the world right now that you will seriously not believe. This tiny water creature was frozen 24,000 years ago, and it has just been brought back to life. This means we're actually a stage closer to bringing people back from the dead, meaning people that have been cryogenically frozen will be able to come back to life in the near future. Next, scientists have identified 29 habitable planets which aliens could be observing us from. This is that they are close enough that they could be observing us right now, and close enough to intercept our radio and TV waves, meaning they'd be able to hear broadcasts and all that kind of thing. Could they be out? Finally, construction is set to start in the next couple of years for this space hotel. It is called the Voyager Station, and they already have their website up available for booking now. It's set to open in 2027 with hotel rooms, gyms, swimming pools and so much more. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to stay here.
Nah, I don't think I could. Y'all tell me down below if you could stay up there. Not me. They made two video freaking. Didn't they make a movie on that? What happened? And they didn't end well.
Disturbing Disney World facts. Up first, Disney's first water park called River Country closed permanently in 2001 after a crazy reason. An 11-year-old boy died from a brain-eating parasite he got in the water at the park. The park is still there, completely abandoned to this day.
Ooh.
Next up, the actor who used to play Gaston at Disney World Orlando accidentally killed himself by attempting to shoot fireworks off of his head. Next up, Disney World is one of the most popular places on Earth where people scatter the ashes of dead people. It actually happens so often that the employees have a special code to use to report it for cleanup. Finally, in 2010, a restaurant manager at Disneyland Paris took his own life one day after working a shift. But before doing so, he left a note on the wall that translated to, "I don't want to go back to Mickey ever again."
If you ever see a
Whoa.
faceless man in your dream, you need to run fast. Believe it or not, your brain cannot actually make up faces. So any face you see in a dream is actually real and someone you've seen before. Even the most terrifying ones you've seen in your dream are actually real and you've seen them somewhere in real life. You just can't necessarily remember it. However, if you see someone with no face in a dream, this is a different story. These faceless people are often referred to as the faceless visitors, are actually demons who are visiting your dreams. Your brain physically can't make up faces. These faceless visitors who are actually demons come to visit your dreams, and sometimes worse.
Now that I've seen it, I
Okay,
can't
stay away from the
unsee it.
faceless demons.
So the other day, a Reddit user posted this photo to Reddit. It's of his apartment at night. He had been complaining of hearing rustling noises in his apartment over the last couple nights. Many users thought they could kind of see something in this area of his kitchen, but I couldn't, so I looked at the brightened version. This is the photo brightened. And I know what you're gonna say, yes it does look like Keanu Reeves, but look at how tall he is compared to the fridge. But it gets so much worse. This is a video he took of his apartment at night where you can see something happen to the light in the kitchen. But let's look at the brightened version.
Mm-hmm. See movement. I see that?
Yes, it's terrifying, but is it a ghost?
Is that a ghost or is that an edit?
Can someone tell me what this is? Did this man find a dragon?
I'm gonna have to call edit on that one. Sure looks real though.
Is the Loch Ness Monster real?
I think these are edits. Or some AI mixed with them.
Surprising facts about sleep.
Yeah, I don't know
you
about
didn't
those.
1 in 3 people don't get enough sleep at night. Your body temperature naturally drops 1 to 2 Fahrenheit when you sleep. 60% of people struggle to sleep due to overheating. But what if your mattress is the thing that's causing you to overheat at night? I had this problem, but recently I switched my mattress to the Emelux cooling mattress. I've been testing it out, and let me tell you, my sleep is much better. With its thermosync technology, the mattress keeps your body temperature balanced all night long, so you don't have to wake up in a sweat any longer. Plus, it offers full body pressure relief, so whether you sleep on your back or on your side, you'll wake up feeling refreshed. And if you share your bed, you'll love the motion isolation feature. Partner tossing and turning won't disturb your sleep anymore. So if you're ready to get better sleep, get the Emelux cooling mattress now and always wake up feeling refreshed. Check out the Emma Summer Bank Holiday now. Get up to 40% off and an extra 5% with my code LeonsFacts. But hurry, click the link because the offer ends soon.
I have to check that out, man. I have noticed that, like, when it's hot at night, but it's way harder to fall asleep. compared to when it's cooler, I could just fall asleep
So
like
crazy.
that.
So this man in this photo is a serial unaliver, and he basically was freed from prison because of old age. Now, according to what I looked into, he unalived around at least 19 people in the 70s and the 60s. Tourists that traveled to Southeast Asia, he would basically unalive them, mainly women. He was called the bikini unaliver because that's usually what they were wearing when he would unalive them. Well, they actually, they finally caught him. He served 19 years in prison.
19?
And then he was released because of old age. So basically they said that he seemed like he was too old to do any kind of crimes again since he's in his 70s, and they went ahead and released him. Now he's sitting here on this plane next to this woman, and she's probably just like, why are you guys sitting next to a serial unaliver? But yeah, since when do people release people because of old age? It doesn't matter how old you are. You can rot in prison, in a prison cell, after unaliving people. And who says he can't do it again?
Just what I was about to say. Read my mind.
This shows all the conspiracies in the world, from the most well-known ones to the darkest of the dark. And as I'm sure you know, in this series we're going from the top to the bottom, so let's go. This is wild and will have you thinking for a long, long time. So it's scientifically proven that after death there is around 7 or 8 minutes of brain activity remaining. And a recent study has just been done which could suggest this happens for hours. Along with this, there's been the theory for years that life flashes before your eyes when you die. So here's the theory, and this is scary. So time is distorted when you're in dreams, right? Like a dream may actually only be about a minute, but feels to you when you're in it like an hour or 2 hours, even longer. So when you die, your life does flash before your eyes. You'll relive all your memories in real time in that 7 or 8 minutes, but it actually feels to you like your entire life. So what if we are all dead, laying in a hospital now or whatever, and our life is flashing before our eyes right now, and we're reliving all of our memories? Obviously there are things like, how the hell am I filming this video then? But, I mean, it's pretty scary to think about. Yeah, that follow up is gonna get even crazier.
That's something that we can ponder about. Because the way we experience dreams, like you said, it may seem, like I said, to us it's like hours or lifetimes, but it's really a couple of minutes. I never really thought about it like that before, Seekers. It's just in theory.
I would have peed myself if I saw this. So Sale was a paper delivery boy years ago, and what he saw on his route is terrifying. Before we dive in, if you love ghost stories, make sure you check out my podcast. This week's episode is all ghost stories from listeners. So when Sale was a paper delivery boy, he always delivered to this one house in his neighborhood where an old woman lived. She was not in great health, so she actually had given him a key so he could let himself in and leave the paper on the table. One day he lets himself in the middle of the day, and he sees that she's in her room lying in her bed fully asleep. This is not normal for her, so he calls to her, but she doesn't answer. So he puts the paper on the table and he just heads out. But the next day is the same exact thing. He comes into her house and she's asleep in her room, not moving and not answering. So he's like, okay, if I come back tomorrow and it's the same thing, I'm going to call for help. Except the next day when he arrives, she greets him at the door. And she's saying things like, thank you so much for delivering my paper. I loved seeing you around. I'm gonna miss you. And he's like, okay, that's kind of weird. So the next day he comes back to deliver the paper and there's cars all outside. So Sale runs up to a police officer and is like, what's going on? And the police calmly explains that the woman in the house had passed away days prior, and a neighbor finally noticed and called it in. So then who did Sale see when he went to the house?
What the hell was he talking to?
Most common zodiac signs amongst different types of people. Billionaires, Leo. Serial killers, Pisces. Famous people, Aries. Major CEOs, Capricorns. Psychopaths, Scorpios.
It's a Leo. Billionaires? Hey man, I must be on the right path or something.
Facts that will mess with your perception of time. There is probably a Greenland shark out there that was alive when Henry VIII was crowned king. The Great Pyramids were further away to the Romans than the Romans are to us now. Rome is 2,500 years older than Italy itself. Italy only became a country in 1861. The last guillotine took place in France at the same time Star Wars came out in 1977. Sharks are actually older than trees, roughly 350 million years old. George Washington never knew dinosaurs existed. He died before they were discovered. This tree right here was fully matured when the Great Pyramids were under construction.
Things you never knew your body was capable of. Your brain can hold 25 million gigabytes of information. Your bones are 5 times stronger than steel. Human bodies glow in the dark, your eyes just can't detect it. You become 35% stronger when you have an adrenaline. 50% of your grip strength comes from your pinky finger.
Breaking news, Bella Brave has been put into a medically induced coma and they do not believe she is going to make it. Many of you may recognize her from being a star on this app. You may also know her as Bella Brave. Now, as of July 10th, her mother has posted that she has been medically induced in a coma. She said, quote, "They've told us they don't know if she'll survive this. I know she will. I know she has an army praying for her." Her mother shared that Bella had developed an infection in her lungs and also may have developed a form of bronchitis. Doctors say the type of bronchitis that she developed is, quote, "irreversible and a chronic condition." It is also known as popcorn lung. On July 9th, her mother posted that although Bella was, quote, "sitting up," she began to struggle. She went on to say, quote, "She lost 4 pounds in one day, putting all her energy into breathing. Her CO2 started to increase and she started to doze off and have delirium. She was alert enough to tell me she turned into a piece of bread, and she also knew that she was at the Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto." She continued by saying they knew at that point they needed to sedate her and intubate her before she crashed. "We left having them tell us they didn't know if she'll make it through the night, but she did." However, the following day, her mother said that she was placed into a medically induced coma. "The best of the best were telling us it looked really bad. But I kept lifted stare, intensely listening until I heard what hope there was left that we could hang on to." She has also shared that Bella was put on a large dose of steroids. She said this is the one option they have left to help her lungs work again. Day 3 will give us more information on how soon we could see her lung function improve. She's stable, and that in itself is an improvement from now. To stay up to date on this case, make sure you click the playlist below. Prayers for Bella, and I'll keep you guys updated. What do you guys think? Drop in the comments.
Did you know there's just a ghost ship out there floating around the ocean filled with rats? And I mean, the ocean itself is terrifying enough. I could do many videos on weird things in the ocean. But let's start with this one, because it's not just a few rats on a ship. It's rat infested, apparently. And those rats eat each other, and people are worried that if they run into the ship, it might eat them too. So the ship behind me is called the Lubov Orlova, and if I butchered that, I'm sorry, I don't speak Russian. And it was, as you can see, a fully functional ship up until 2006, when so much debts were collected that it had to be docked. And it was docked for 2 years, and that's where the rat thing comes in. So after 2 years of just sitting there, which was prime time for anything to sneak on board, especially rats, people decided that they were going to scrap it. So they took it to scrap it, but then the line that they were towing it with, or whatever the nautical term of that is, broke, and it floated for a while. But it was still in the Canada area where it had been docked. Now, Canada decides they're going to grab the ship, and they were going to scrap it. But for whatever reason, when they did finally get this escaped, unused ship, they went into international waters and just let it loose to go wherever it might go.
Why?
Nobody really knows why they did it. They just decided to. And that's when this ship became a ghost ship, because people didn't know where it was after that. Then fast forward to 2013. Somebody spots the ship closer around the area of the UK and Ireland, and that's when they say there's a ton of rats on board. Now, this hasn't been completely confirmed, but that's when this rat story starts. After that first sighting of where the ship finally ended up with, people start pouring in more sightings, saying that this ghost ship is floating around, is heading towards Ireland, and it's filled with rats. Rats that eat each other and are potentially dangerous to other people. So the most chilling thing, in my opinion, about this whole ghost ship filled with rats is that there's at least one story out there of somebody who found this ship, sent a distress signal, and they then themselves went missing. So what happened to them? Did the rats get them? Because that's just, I hate that. Anyways, in around 2015-ish, 2014, maybe a little earlier, people were very concerned that this ship was going to find its way floating into Ireland and release all of these horrible, horrible rats. And that was a concern for a while, and at my understanding, it still kind of is, but it's been 10 years since then, so I don't know if that's still something people are panicking about, but what do you guys think about this ghost ship?
This pedophile committed a crime so disturbing that a petition was created that asked the government to publicly hang him. And the petition gathered thousands of signatures. This is 33-year-old Benjamin Taylor from West Virginia, and in 2016 he would commit one of the most sickening crimes I've ever read about. Back in 2016, Benjamin was living with his girlfriend, a woman named Amanda Adkins. At the time, Amanda had recently given birth only 9 months ago to her baby daughter, Emily. Emily was a beautiful young girl, and I want to warn you all right now, the details that we're about to discuss are some of the most disturbing I've ever covered. So in October of 2016, Benjamin had only been living with his girlfriend Amanda for about a month. And on the morning of Emily's death at around 4:30 a.m., Amanda woke up and went downstairs to search for her baby. When she went downstairs, she saw Benjamin Taylor with his pants unzipped sitting in the dark. Amanda then noticed that her 9-month-old daughter's limp body was lying nearby on a pile of sheets and laundry. Amanda screamed at Benjamin and grabbed her daughter's lifeless body, but he remained silent and stared at the ground. The details of what had just happened down there are disturbing. Local authorities would call this the worst assault that they had seen in decades. You see, Benjamin and Emily were covered in the infant's blood. After the child's body was examined, the authorities were able to determine that she had been assaulted by an adult male multiple times. The infant child was also bleeding extensively and had suffered head trauma. Emily had a fractured skull and brain hemorrhaging. Authorities believe that Emily may have been shaken violently, or even thrown to the ground or slammed against a hard object. When police arrived at the scene, Benjamin Taylor was observed trying to wipe something off of his groin. That was eventually determined to be Emily's blood. He also told authorities that he remembered taking the baby to the basement, but that he blacked out after that. You see, he had been smoking and drinking the night before, and that was his excuse. Thankfully, Benjamin was convicted of all charges and sentenced to life in prison without mercy, as you can see right here. But for some people, that just wasn't enough. And like I said at the beginning of this video, a petition was created which asked the government to publicly hang Benjamin. And this petition, before it was shut down, gathered over 50,000 signatures.
Ooh.
I mean, this truly is one of the worst things that I've ever covered here on my TikTok. And personally, I don't think that life in prison is enough for this guy. I mean, the pain that poor Emily went through before she was eventually killed is just heartbreaking on every single level. And I just hope and pray that the other prisoners that are in there with Benjamin find out, or already have found out, exactly what he did to land himself in there. If you want to hear more true crime stories, listen to the podcast Murder in America that I co-host with my wife, Courtney. It's available on all streaming platforms.
They found out that's going to be kind of it for him. Seekers, if you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you're true seekers seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate the support. Make sure you guys comment down below, man. Like I said, comment down below what you guys think of these clips that we watched together. Also, man, don't forget to follow me on all my social medias. Links are in the description, so we always stay connected as a community. Guys, gonna catch you in the next video. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing alright, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, you guys don't know what we do. We break down scary and creepy videos, man, on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG videos, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank my supporters, man, who's tapping into the channel, subscribing, hitting that post notification bell, man, hitting that like button on each and every single video. You guys don't know how much you guys are helping out the channel just by doing those 3 simple steps. You guys help pushing us into the algorithm, man. One day we're just going to take off and explode, but right now we're building momentum. Found this video for you guys today, man. A lot of stuff came out. Let's do what we do best, seekers. Let's seek the truth.
Beat the system, part 4. Firstly, this woman really wanted to bring her bottle of water on a flight. But if you've ever traveled on an airplane, you'll know that you can't carry more than 3.4 ounces of liquid with you. So in 2013, she came up with a genius loophole. She carried a large can of water with her, but the water was frozen. And according to the law, you can't carry water in a liquid state, but you can bring frozen water. Moving on, you can't bring alcohol to a music festival. But in 2017, a man named Alex Diamond came up with a genius idea. A few days before the Electric Zoo Music Festival, he went to the site and buried a water bottle filled with alcohol, pinning the exact location on Google Maps. A few days later, when the festival started, he went to the same spot and dug up the bottle. Finally, this kid was having fun playing games on his computer, until his parents told him to go outside and play. So he took his computer outside and started playing there.
Those 5,000 IQ moves, man. The hell are we watching? Those are definitely some edits, right?
This might be the scariest thing that ever happened to America. We all know that America had a lot of scary things happen to it. But this has to be the scariest thing ever. On August 29th, 1968, every single TV in America shut down. But a demonic whispering was coming from every TV in America. Many people believed that it was the devil trying to get across some message. But nobody really understood it. This lasted for about 25 seconds, then all the TVs came back on. To this day, nobody knows what caused it or why it happened, but everybody believes it was the works of the devil.
What do you guys think? What was that? What was the cause of all those TVs going out and for this playing that audio? Was a message trying to get through? Or were they testing something? Because you know how they be testing stuff with the TVs. Some questions, man, that's coming into my mind.
After a massive manhunt, the missing hiker has been found alive after 10 days. And how he survived is crazy. 34-year-old Lucas only planned an afternoon hike in California's oldest state park. So he set out with very few supplies and not even a t-shirt, expecting to return home in a few hours. However, he soon became disorientated as recent wildfires had destroyed familiar landmarks. And since Lucas didn't tell anyone where he was going, the alarm was only raised after he missed Father's Day lunch 5 days after he set out. This sparked a massive manhunt involving nearly 300 people and multiple agencies. While they searched, Lucas wandered the forest, slept on wet leaves, foraged for berries, and drank water he collected from his boots. Without a t-shirt or any supplies to start a fire, he developed hypothermia. He was stalked by a mountain lion, and things got really bad when he got injured after slipping on a wet rock face. Lucas lost over 30 pounds and spent the last 48 hours just lying there screaming for help. On day 10, a drone and a sniffer dog finally found him, and at last he was reunited with his family waiting for him on the forest's edge.
Man, goes to show you, everybody needs to have some natural, I guess, camping ability or skills, because you never know what can happen. Or you'll be put in that situation. Where's this guy?
Scariest interviews with serial killers. Serial killer John Hughes. John Hughes was convicted of 15 murders and sentenced to life in prison in 2010.
Damn.
When he was interviewed and asked if he would kill again, he said this.
Because you'd kill again.
More than positive. I got different thoughts. Then he was asked if he felt bad for the murders he had committed, and this is what he said.
You don't feel bad about killing anyone?
Not personally, that I've personally done myself, no.
Why?
Wrong place, wrong time. Follow for more.
Very eerie, man. No remorse.
Do you know how weird time is? If you have two twins that are 20 years old and you sent one of them to the star Sirius at 99% the speed of light and then flew back again, the twin who stayed on Earth would be 37 years old and the twin who was traveling would only be 22 years old. Every single person on Earth, including you, is living in the past because our brains don't perceive an event until about 80 milliseconds after it's already happened. It is a very fine line, but that's why some physicists argue that there's no such thing as the present moment. The way that you perceive the passing of time is heavily dependent on the language you use. People in most Western cultures perceive the passing of time as being left to right, because that's how we write, but other cultures perceive it as up to down, east to west, or right to left. Time is actually passing faster for your face than it is for your feet, because the closer you are to the center of the Earth, the slower time moves. A year at the top of Mount Everest is 15 microseconds shorter than it is at sea level.
Wow.
What could this strange creature be? An need to keep in mind is that when the body of a fur-bearing animal decays, especially if it's in a moist area or submerged in water, the fur will often fall off before the skin decomposes. And it is for that reason that I am very confident we are looking at nothing more than the corpse of a decomposing monkey.
Creepiest home camera footage. In 2017, a mother in Billings, Montana woke up in the middle of the night to a notification on her phone. Her phone was synced to a baby monitor she had set up in her infant daughter's room. On this night, upon being alerted, she opened the app expecting to see her daughter awake in the crib. But instead she saw this. A man she didn't know is seen crouched down in the room. She saw this and ran to the room to retrieve her daughter and run out the house. She didn't see anyone in the room but wasn't exactly looking. When she called the cops, they arrived and conducted a search of the home but didn't find anything. A very odd detail is that it was found that nothing but the remote to a dog shock collar was stolen from the house. Who this man is and how he got in the house is still unknown.
That's crazy. That's really like one of my worst fears. Like somebody's in your house and you have no idea they were there. Like, that's very creepy and eerie, man. How somebody can be in your house and they can be in that vicinity for so long and you have no idea. That's insane. Where's this guy? Edit. Call it out like you see it. He's known for his edits.
These are things humans should never hear, part 1.
Okay.
What I'm about to show you is a simulation of what happened to Alaskan Flight 261 following a catastrophic loss of pitch control, killing all 88 people on board. This is real audio footage of the plane going down between the pilots and air traffic control. The plane went inverted, meaning it was flying upside down, and just listen to how calm the pilots are.
No survivors? So calm. Damn.
Genius people who beat the system, part 1. This student was only allowed to have a one-page cheat sheet. So they wrote a whole page of notes in blue pen and another page in red pen. They then brought 3D glasses to class, so when they looked through the blue side, they could see the red pen, and when they looked through the red side, they could see the blue pen. This guy's new job required a photo of him in a suit for their new website. But since he doesn't own a suit, he just photoshopped his face over this guy's face, and honestly, it looks pretty real. A girl's dad went to Vegas for 5 days, and put a camera in the living room to make sure she didn't have any parties. But the girl wasn't going to let that stop her from partying, so she came up with a pretty creative solution. This parking spot says only green vehicles can park there, but I think the owner of this car took that a bit too literally. This kid's mom told him that food wasn't allowed in the living room, and his tablet wasn't allowed in the kitchen, so it's safe to say that he beat the system.
People, man. When they want to beat the system, they'll think of something. What the hell is that?
God. This creature, nay, this nightmare, is something so incredibly rare. It is likely that none of you have ever heard tell of its kind before. It's called a turtle.
What?
Here's some of the greatest conspiracy theories of all time. Part 4. The Grinch has a well-known backstory about hating Christmas. However, eventually in the movie, his heart grows 3 sizes and he loves Christmas once again. But this story may continue longer than we think. It is clear that the Grinch isn't exactly right in the head, but during one of the Grinch's wacky stunts, he could have gotten a head injury. This injury would later take a toll on him as he grew old and caused him to lose his memory. After him and his dog died, they were given a new life in a realm called Halloween Town, where they now lived as Jack Skellington and Zero. He later reunites with his love for Christmas, just like he had when he was alive. Both eventually wear a Santa suit, both deliver presents, and both have a dog companion. It may be possible that How the Grinch Stole Christmas and The Nightmare Before Christmas are tied together.
Connected, man? Media's connecting?
Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew. Part 16. Kangaroos are absolutely terrifying, and if you mess with one, it will likely lure you into the water and attempt to drown you. There's an abandoned Disney park that you aren't allowed to go to, and it was shut down in 1999 because it was infested with free-roaming alligators. The animals were being abused, and an 11-year-old boy died from a flesh-eating bacteria found in the park's waters. In the movie The Wizard of Oz, the lion's costume was made out of a real skinned lion. This is the John Lawson house. No one knows who lives there, but every single day, there are several female mannequins sitting on the front porch wearing a variety of clothing. Their positions and outfits change daily, and many believe this is meant to convey some sort of message. And in 1871, a train crash took place just 200 feet away from the home, killing 22 people. And these mannequins are always pointing toward the crash.
That's some crazy info, especially about those mannequins outside the house. I think somebody commented on, like, they give a reason why that's there, but need to check that out again. But the things we heard about the saying when the skin lined vegan suit, there was a lot of rumors that some weird stuff was going on behind that movie. So, and you know how Hollywood is nowadays. So now imagine back in the days what was going on there.
Inuit tribe crafted tools out of space metal. 10,000 years ago, this meteorite landed in the Arctic in northern Greenland. An entire Inuit community sprang up around it just to make tools from the iron in the meteorite, which resulted in badass stuff like this, a spear made from a narwhal tusk tipped with space metal. They didn't even have enough wood to make fires to actually forge the metal, so they had to cold forge it, just hammering it with giant stones until it was the right shape. The tools were so valuable, they were traded as far away as Norway.
Damn. It kind of sounds like a Wakanda freaking like origin story. How the metal just fall to earth and they just made weapons out of it or just forged it. It's actually insane. The parallels between those two freaking
when the bravest bear in history was just a cub, his mother was slain by hunters, and the poor orphan was carried off to a train station in Iran. But when he was rescued by Polish soldiers fleeing the Soviet Union, they bottle-fed him back to health with milk and honey, and on cold nights he even cuddled up next to them in their tents. Imitating the soldiers, he learned how to smoke, drink, and wrestle, and when the men went on patrol, he'd march alongside them on his hind legs. When a spy broke into the Polish camp, he sniffed him out while hiding in the showers, and when the intruder laid eyes on his furry foe, his panic scream alerted every soldier within miles to his presence. But when the Poles boarded British boats bound for the Italian campaign of World War II, they were presented with a strict policy prohibiting pets on their ships. Yet not willing to leave the brown bear behind, they found a loophole and formally enrolled him into the Polish army as a private. During the famous Battle of Monte Cassino, the Germans had fortified a monastery upon a hill and had devastatingly repulsed 3 prior attacks. But carrying crates of ammunition that would normally require 4 strong men, the courageous cub charged up the hill, successfully resupplying the Polish artillery. And even in the face of heavy enemy fire, he never dropped a single crate, allowing Allied forces to capture the stronghold and gaining promotion to corporal for his bravery. After the war ended, the Iron Curtain prevented the Poles from returning home, and so the brave bear was brought to a zoo in Scotland, where he was frequently visited by his fighting friends, who would often bring him treats and jump into his enclosure for a good wrestle. And it's said that for the rest of his life, he would happily stand up and salute whenever he heard Polish. When you're the most ferocious furry fighting force to ever fight for the free world, they don't just call you the bravest bear, they call you Corporal Wojtek.
Could you live on a pillar for decades without coming down? It sounds impossible, but this was actually a way of life that emerged around the 5th century CE in the Eastern Roman Empire. These Christian ascetics were known as stylites. They would eat, sleep, fast, write, all on top of a pillar for years without coming down. They would would rely on the locals to give them food. The earliest known stylite was a man named Simeon. He was a Christian ascetic from the 5th century CE, near the city of Aleppo in Syria. He wanted to be left alone, so he climbed up a pillar. But he actually became more popular when he climbed up and started living on here, so his plan sort of backfired. He ended up spending around 37 years living on a pillar. Travelers would climb up ladders to reach him just to have a conversation. Certainly an interesting way of life.
How the hell they stayed up there for so long?
So this preacher from Zimbabwe claims he can walk on air.
Okay. Is this an edit?
Well, I'm convinced.
Hail Messiah!
There's definitely no other explanation for why his feet were off the ground, like people on the side holding him up. That's definitely not what happened. It's not like you can see the shadow of the door closing on his left when you slow down the footage. Just shut up and tell me where to donate my money. I mean, come on, it's not like people use religion to scam people. I mean, yes, the preacher has a nicer house than all of us, but then again, he walks on air and we don't.
Case closed.
Is he scamming like that? And people will believe in it?
Terrifying sounds extinct animals used to admit, and the last one's the worst. If you don't know this extinct mega chicken, you must be living your life under a rock. This is a dodo bird. 3 feet tall, 45 pounds, and a pair of chicken wings that are more useless than a penguin's. It can make an omelet for a family and produce a sound that would cause me to move to Mars. The lizard that got into your bag of tread, the velociraptor. Or should I say Jurassic Myth, because they didn't look like this at all. Hollywood lied to you. At least the film's fuck-up looks more like a Utah raptor. This is actually what a velociraptor looks like. It's basically also just a giant chicken. Moving 25 miles per hour and hunting in packs isn't the scary part. It's the way they sound. The only difference between this next animal and my meat is that it went extinct, the Titanoboa. And if this BGC's length at 50 fuck-no feet isn't impressive enough, how about its 3 feet in girth? This twisty telephone pole could squeeze at 400 psi, crushing any 20-foot crocodile that lived at the time. Damn. And this no-bro makes a sound like no other. The extinct blubberbuzz that used to swallow the megalodon, the Leviathan whale. This living sea monster is a distant cousin of our daily sperm whale.
What?
Except unlike the living load we have today that primarily consumes giant squid, the Leviathan had no predators and ate everything. And the sound alone is enough to terrify me. Congratulations, you made it to the final animal. And I'm sorry you have to hear this, but the T-Rex doesn't actually look this way. Real-life Reptar looks much more terrifying with a haircut like Grandpa. And boy, do I have news for you. Their arms weren't useless. It said that they could have bench pressed up to 400 pounds. And did I mention they can also swim? The sound they made is weird, but the closest relative they have alive today is also weird. It's the chicken. I'm so sorry it had to end this way.
What?
Enjoy.
Okay. Chicken is related to the T-Rex. The more you know.
Sorry for being so unprofessional. Whoa! Wow! No way!
It's an edit.
What?
Hey, my name is Ajax, and in case you didn't know, I am the first and only animal made to make music born of rock, star, dust, and mold.
How many of you guys remember this girl? She went absolutely viral in 2020 for making faces in court. But before we get into her story, my name is Ashley, and if you guys like crime, creepy, and unbelievable stories, check out my YouTube channel or my TikTok for more content. So this girl's name is Isabella Guzman, and in 2013, she fatally stabbed her mother over 79 times. The video that went viral was actually from 2013, but somehow it took 7-8 years for it to reach mass audience. So initially, Isabella was quite young when she started exhibiting a lot of behavioral issues. She was living with her mother at the time, but when she was 7 years old, she was sent to live with her father. After a few years went by, her father then sent her to go live with her mother again when she was a teenager. And in August of 2013, the relationship between Isabella and her mother quickly deteriorated. They were fighting quite often, and on August 27th, they had an argument that ended with Isabel spitting in her mother's face. The following morning, Isabella's mother received an email saying, "You will pay." Obviously, she was terrified and didn't know what else to do with her daughter, so she called the police. The police arrived to her home and then talked to Isabella, telling her that if she didn't straighten up, that her mother could legally kick her out of the house. Isabella's mother then called her biological father to come talk to Isabella. He came over to their house and had a long talk with her in the backyard, talking to her about respect. According to him, he thought that they had made a lot of progress, but then a few hours later, everything changed. August 28, 2013, around 9:30 p.m., Isabella's mother, Yeonmi Hoi, arrived home. She told her husband she was going to head upstairs and take a shower. That's when her husband hears these awful screams coming from upstairs. Obviously, he runs upstairs to see what's wrong, and when he gets to the bathroom, he sees Isabella slamming the bathroom door shut, locking herself and her mother in the bathroom. He tried as hard as he could to get that door open, but it was locked. All he heard was screaming and an obvious struggle going on. Then he saw blood seeping through the bottom of the door and called 911. Then, as the door was opening, he heard his wife say the word Jehovah, and then Isabella walked out of the bathroom with a bloody knife. Apparently, Isabella didn't say a single thing, just stared at him and walked away like nothing had happened. Runs into the bathroom to check on his wife when he discovers that she had been brutally stabbed 79 times. Unfortunately, she passed away. By the time police arrived, Isabella had run away from the home, but police quickly found her the following day, hiding in a nearby parking garage. On September 5, 2013, Isabella was brought into court for the first time, and that's where we see the video of her making all these faces. Later find out that Isabella was actually suffering from schizophrenia and had delusions for years. According to her, she didn't remember that she was stabbing her mother. She thought that she was stabbing a woman named Cecilia in order to save the world. The judge accepted her plea of mental insanity and sentenced her to a mental facility. In June 2021, Isabella was given permission to leave the hospital for her therapy sessions. She has expressed remorse for what happened, but also said that her mother was extremely abusive towards her.
Dr. Disrespect was sent to jail this morning. This tweet is going viral for literally exposing him. I don't want to read some of this stuff on TikTok because this video might get taken down. So a former Twitch employee just exposed him for... Oh my gosh. There's no name that was mentioned for the person that he was doing it to, but it has came out that it was Dr. Disrespect. Now, as a lot of people know, Dr. Disrespect has been banned off of Twitch for like a couple years now, and the reason was always unknown. Dr. Disrespect, even on stream, say like, I can't say like why I was banned on Twitch. It's like a whole legal thing right now. Basically, he couldn't leak it because it was all legal, and like, you just couldn't tell all of his audience. The fact that he was hiding something that maybe was this is... That is so disgusting, dude. But he doesn't, like, I know you can't really say that. He doesn't look like a person that would do that. Like, bro is a white, bro has millions of dollars. I don't think he would ever do something like that. That's exactly what the comments say underneath this tweet. Fake news, the information isn't confirmed by Twitch. Honestly, this whole tweet is just speculation. Let me know if y'all think this is true, and what do y'all think about this? Dr. Disrespect was actually talking to a minor. He just confirmed this on Twitter. This wasn't a joke. Everybody thought the news was fake, and that's why he was banned on Twitch, because he was talking to someone underage inappropriately, but no. This is the tweet that he just tweeted. I'll just cut to the juicy part of it. Were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual minor back in 2017? The answer is yes. He was speaking to someone underage, which is fine, right? These were casual, mutual conversations that sometimes lean too much in the direction of being inappropriate. I guess Twitch saw that in his DM, and that's why he got banned. Oh, that's insane that he literally admitted this. That's actually crazy. And just say, but nothing more, nothing illegal happened, no pictures, no crimes. But you know, that's good. I mean, it was just Twitch whispers, but like, bro, this is so surprising. Like, he has a kid, he's a fam, multi-millionaire, like 6'6". Like, you would never think a guy like this would ever get in, like, you never think he would get caught up in something like this. Yeah, what do y'all think about this? Apparently, he didn't do anything illegal, but the rumors were true. This is what all this...
That's crazy, man. Dr. Disrespect, you know, is one of the biggest streamers in the world. I don't understand why people in positions like that, they always, it's like they can't control themselves. They always have to do something immoral, man. Man, people was always wondering why he got banned. I still remember he got freaking banned on Twitch or something like that. It was trending, and people kept asking him why. But he could never give an answer. But now, I guess you know why. You wouldn't want something like that to come out. That's basically going to end his career. I don't know how we're going to come out from this. Never in a million years would people think this was the reason why Dr. Disrespect was banned.
Streamers had to say about Dr. Disrespect: explicit messages to a minor. This is the saddest one of all, Tim the Tatman. As you know, Dr. Disrespect and Tim the Tatman went way back. They always played games together. I remember watching Tim the Tatman stream, and he was like all excited to play with Doc finally once he switched over to YouTube. Now that this came out, he posted this very sad story on Twitter. It was like, if the messages are true, then I just can't see myself playing with them, which makes sense. You can't support this type of behavior. By the way, guys, this isn't a made-up rumor. He did do this. He literally tweeted that the answer is yes, he did send Twitch messages to a individual that was a minor back in 2017, and they did. Some of them weren't inappropriate. It's crazy seeing everybody respond. Jackcepticeye guy says effing disgusting when he puts like the tweet out. Pokimane just tweets out yuck. That's crazy. Ray says Dr. Disgusting. 40,000 likes. That's insane. Even Nadia responds. Never mind. Who cares about Nadia? My bad. And of course, Nick Merckx responded. I'm not going to put that up on here. He had a lot of extra stuff to say, so I'll go on Twitter and look at that. I don't know, man. The guy's like 6'6", millions of dollars, his family, kids, and he was doing this type of stuff. And even though this was a while ago, this was a couple years ago that he got banned on Twitch, I don't know. What do y'all think about this? This is really sad.
Like I said, never in a million years would you expect someone like Dr. Disrespect for that's the reason why he was banned. And people kind of say it came out like the same situation. Remember when he said he had that cheating scandal with his wife or something like that? But I think that was a separate situation. I don't know if that's connected or not, but damn. I remember I saw that freaking trend yesterday, freaking Kai followed him, just like everybody making freaking pictures about it and memes and stuff. I'm just like, it's freaking serious accusation, man. I don't get why people in power, when they have that, it's like when they get the clout and the money and influence, they just can't control themselves. I truly don't get it, Seekers. Hey, you tell me down below, man, what do you guys think about that Dr. Disrespect case, man? Nobody in a million years would have guessed that. That's it, man, for this video for you guys today. If you guys made it with me to the end, you're a true seeker seeking the truth. I really appreciate the support. Like I said, guys, we're doing these daily uploads. You guys gonna catch you in the next one. I'm out. Peace, YouTube.